Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freaks with a Z, the podcast all about movies. Each episode is about a particular movie, and we'll get to this episode's movie in a little bit. But first, I need to invite you, the listener, to join in on our fan vote. It happens every 4 episodes during Tay's episode, so if you missed this one, that's okay. We always need your suggestions to fill out the poll list for future votes. So if you want to, you can either send us an email at ff.filmfreaks with a Z at the end at gmail.com, or comment on the latest episode of Film Freaks with a Z on YouTube, or head over to the Discord, links in the description, and you can tell us what movie you want to pick or submit in the Film Freaks section or the movie section. It's up to you, really. Or you can reach out personally and talk to one of us. Or if you're on the podcast, you could just suggest one while you're here. There's so many ways to do it. And once again, the polls are now going to be exclusively on Discord, and we will reveal the winner of the latest poll at the end of this episode. I wonder what it is. All right, before we talk about the movie, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I am Yemmy the Fert, and I'm here with...
Onward Waffles.
Taymation.
Ray of positivity.
Onward and upward, folks.
Yeah, let's say Greedy took the only one.
Yeah. Well, you could have done Elf something. Say the Elf.
I guess.
Elfmation.
Elfmation. There you go.
Yeah.
Is everyone having a magical weekend?
Oh, you know what is magical? Daylight savings and the extra hour we got today. That was pretty magical.
Yeah, that's right. I woke up
yeah.
exactly at 5:40 today.
Oh my. For any
would've-
reason or just...
I usually get up at 6:40, so...
Yeah, I was say
Hey.
40.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, the one that sucks is the other time change.
Yeah.
Which I dread, and then I never get back on a good sleeping schedule until we go back again.
Yeah. We should just, now that we've switched, stop.
Yeah, just stop.
Oh, it is over,
Yeah.
right? We're not switching anymore.
No, they keep trying, but it's
Yeah.
like they get to the very end of like passing it and then it fails. And I don't
Oh.
know why.
Yeah. We should just all talk to our state representatives. The states can make up their own mind about it. Like Hawaii and Arizona don't do it.
That's right.
Yeah. I'll write a strongly worded letter.
Yeah. Let's just stop. It's stupid and no one likes it.
Hey, speaking of trying and failing and trying again, Ray had a movie for us today. What'd you do? What'd you pick?
I picked the 2020 film Onward. It's a Disney Pixar film. Great. Basically, the storyline is that two teen elf brothers, Ian and Barley, went on a magical quest to spend one more day with their late father. The journey was filled with cryptic maps, impossible obstacles, and unimaginable discoveries. But when the mom found out that her sons were missing, she teamed up with a legendary manticore to bring her boys back home. The cast is Chris Pratt, Tom Holland, Octavia Spencer, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Ali Wong, and Mel Rodriguez. So,
What a cast.
what a cast. And they did really well, too.
A very small cast, too.
Yeah, the main ones for sure. But, yeah. What do you guys think?
Just overall, we're to the end.
Yeah, to the end. All right. What writing?
Just, I didn't know if anybody had seen it before, or if this was your first time.
First
Yeah,
time
this is
seeing.
my first time seeing it.
I had seen it before.
Okay. All right, cool. So two of us are right there. Music was actually by two Canadian brothers. They're composers, Jeff and Michael Donna. So I thought that was kind of cool. I really liked the music. I'm a music dork.
The music was really good. I liked especially like the random tapes Barley kept putting in for his quest music. Like that music was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny, like that Chris Pratt, the Star-Lord, was still using tapes and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, the music was great. And that's probably was the most enjoyable part of the movie. But most Pixar films have like an amazing soundtrack. Well, even like most Disney soundtracks are pretty good. I think the one that came out before this was what was before this one? Was it Coco?
No.
Coco, I think, was 2 or 3 years before this.
Enchanted?
Coco...
Encanto, I mean?
No.
Oh, yes.
It might have been Encanto.
Yeah, that one
actually.
also has like really good music to it as well. So.
Oh, I think Kanto was the one after this one.
Yeah, either way,
Oh.
they have a
Oh
pretty
my
good
gosh, you
track
might
record.
be right.
Yeah, for sure. Hold on, you know what? I can look this up.
I almost want to say it was Frozen 2.
It might
That
have
was
been.
before this one.
Oh, yeah, I didn't.
Because I know
never
that
saw
was pre-COVID.
Yeah,
That's how I date things now.
that's a
Yeah.
big part of this movie is that it was a COVID movie that was supposed to get released in theaters, didn't get released in theaters, came to Disney Plus,
Actually,
and it died on Disney Plus. To be honest, I don't think it did very well.
yeah. Yeah, Toy Story 4 was actually the one right before this.
You
Oh.
got offended me.
Yeah,
No, because Frozen is Disney. It's not Pixar.
that's
well,
fair.
Pixar owns. I mean, I'm sorry,
Well, yeah,
Disney
yeah,
owns
but-
Pixar now, so you kind
For
of just
sure.
lump them together at this point. Because really, I mean, what is the difference between Pixar and Disney movies now? It's hard to really say.
They're different studios, like animation studios, different people working on them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
besides the technical side of things, like there's really no difference between Onward and like Encanto's art
I feel
style.
like, I mean, Disney's art style is it's very like all their female protagonists have like the exact same face. While Pixar actually like has different body features.
That's fair.
That's like the big difference
Okay.
at this point.
Did any of you guys have a favorite character?
I mean, I don't know.
No?
I don't really think I had a favorite character. I think everyone was just kind of fine, in my opinion. No one really stood out to me.
I liked the mom. I thought
Yeah.
she did good.
She's cute.
The brother wasn't bad. I kind of
Yeah.
liked
Which
his
one?
vibe a little bit.
Barley.
Chris Pratt character. Barley? Was it
Barley.
Barley? Yeah.
See, another
Yeah.
thing that this movie had going against it is the Tom Holland and Chris Pratt exhaustion was at an all-time high when this movie came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So a lot of people wrote it off just because it was like, oh, another Chris Pratt movie, oh, another Tom Holland movie. Which,
Yeah.
honestly, the character of Barley, I mean, Chris Pratt does a fine job. It's not like, I'm hating on him, but seemed almost perfect for like Jack Black in a way.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said. Like while I was watching it, like he kind of sounds like him too in some parts. So
I think
feel
it's
like-
because we're used to like him with Jack Black as like that music character vibe, and that's the
Yeah.
vibe that he gave out.
Yeah.
that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, Jack Black would have been a much better casting choice.
Of course,
I
Jack
mean, Chris
Black
Pratt
is-
did fine, but
maybe
yeah.
But
maybe
it's a
Jack
kids
Black's a little
movie,
bit too bold.
guys. Yeah, it's a kids movie, guys. We can't have Jack Black.
Jack Black's done
Uh-huh.
kids movies. He's the panda in Kung Fu Panda.
That's right. He's
It's
Poe.
true. Mm-hmm. I feel like he could have added a lot more like improv to it too.
Yeah, maybe a bit more life. Breathe a little bit
Yeah.
of life into the movie.
hmm
Yeah. With this one personally, I really like the animation style. Like when Ian was writing his to-do list basically, and like you can tell like on the actual paper where like the pen might have missed a mark like in a letter or something. I thought that was really kind of cool. It's like the small details I really
I would-
enjoy.
Which Pixar is always really good at.
Yeah.
I actually remember when he was writing, thinking, "Man, he's got like the best handwriting on the planet."
Yeah. And those like perfect lines when he was crossing.
It's like I
out.
understand they want it to be eligible for the audience, but it's like, come on, give a little like
Well,
wiggle to his hand or something.
he's like a science nerd, so I mean, I feel like the neat handwriting fits the character.
Yeah, I
Me
guess.
too. Well, and that's how he's structured too. Like, and that's how he's supposed to be portrayed. Like, Barley's this crazy wackadoodle brother that's just very spontaneous and likes to go on adventures, and he thinks that all this stuff is so cool that the D&D aspect of it. And then you have Ian over here that like does everything prim and proper, and he likes things the way they are. And I think his handwriting and just his overall structure portrayed that
Yeah, for
pretty
sure.
well. Yeah. Did anybody have like a favorite part?
I kind of like the chase scene between the flying bugs and
Fairies.
yeah, fairies, and that whole chase scene and him getting shrinked. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I
That was
like.
cool.
I mean, overall, like once they start their little quest, I think it's a lot of fun the whole way through. Um, my favorite probably is though when he sends his van into the cliffside.
Guinevere, yeah. I love the way that the flat tire on it sounded like it was galloping.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Going
Yeah, it
off
was a
into
nice
the
touch.
distance. Yeah.
Yep, it
That's-
made me laugh. I was just galloping. It's great.
I agree. I agree.
I
And
like
the
that.
Manticore part was cool.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say. I think the Manticore part when they're inside the bar was probably my favorite part of the movie. My favorite scene.
Yeah.
I just like how the Manticore is trying to be civil and proper and up to code, and the two brothers come in and pretty much in a couple minutes just wreck the entire place because of just kind of being so pushy, wanting the map and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like when she burned the head of the mascot.
Mhm.
It's just melting and then she throws it. That's good.
Yeah. I don't know. I really appreciate the Manticore parts and the way that their mom just kind of took control and was like, I don't know. She just became such a badass out of nowhere. Yeah. What did you think about the their mom's boyfriend, the Bronco?
The cop.
Yeah, probably my
Yeah.
least favorite character in the movie.
Yeah,
Right.
They wanted him to be more likable in the movie, and just didn't work out.
Not at all.
Yeah, he
Not at all.
Anytime he was on screen, even like when I guess not when
They
like
were pretending
Ian
to be
was
him.
pretending to be him, I guess. But anytime he was in a scene, it just kind of sucked the fun out of it. I guess you could say. Like even at the end when it's all like lighthearted and I'm like, oh god, here we are with this guy again. Can I also complain about the whole, like this whole species of centurions, or what? Wait, what are they called?
Centaur?
Centaurs.
And it's ours.
Yeah.
Can I just complain that like why is he driving a car? Like how does this work? Like does he have? Obviously he has the big back the back of the car that store his body, but like in what crazy world do the centaurs just start driving cars? I like there's a lot of logic things with this movie that kind of make me go but the centaur driving the car was like my least favorite thing that they did for this movie. Like I understand a lot of it is like getting the magic back in the world and reminding people of their ancestors or whatever, but yeah, that just kind of I don't know, that just kind of and not pissed me off, but it just kind of annoyed me whenever I saw him driving, because it's like, well, why not just make him a normal character then? Because there's
Right.
no difference between him driving a car and him. I think it would have been better if the centaur still ran and whatnot,
Yeah.
I mean, bring the magic back. By the end, he's running, and I think they just were like, "Well, pixies don't fly anymore. We show them they start learning to fly. What else can we show?"
They don't learn to fly; they just fly automatically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They remember they can fly, and then then there's like, what else can we show? I guess centaurs they don't run anymore. Sure, we'll go with that.
Sure.
But how can we show that? Well, let's make a centaur cop character.
Yeah,
And he'll be
because
a
when
Bronco and get it. He's gonna drive a Bronco.
Oh,
It's gonna be
Yeah.
hilarious.
yeah, because kids are gonna understand that.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was definitely a kid.
Yeah, because when they crashed the van to block the street for the chase, it's like couldn't he just like run around and catch them
Right.
or fly over it or jump over it? I mean,
Yeah, maybe,
Like-
maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
You would think.
Yeah, there's so many creatures in this movie that are just doing menial tasks. Like the goblins are waitresses and waiters, and the trolls are, the like they're just regular workers or whatever. It's like I feel like even if this civilization was to form out of a go away from magic, I feel like some characters would still like do something that is like their mythical creatures. Like I don't understand why
Yeah.
every character or every like race in this movie is just vanilla. Like it's just like it's just like nowadays, except there's elves and there's trolls and blah blah blah. Like even though there's a visual difference, like they're still doing mundane tasks that aren't that special. And I feel like if the movie did more stuff like the unicorns being rabid animals, I would have been more on board with it. But since most of the creatures in this movie are just like doing regular everyday tasks and everything just looks like, you know, Middletown America, I just feel like they could have done more to really enhance the style and make it so that it's more like maybe more like a Zootopia where each creature has something unique in the city for them to get around, or maybe there's specific jobs that the trolls do or the goblins do that the other ones can't. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that was one of the things that just like I have this complaint about a few different properties that use like mythical creatures or anthropomorphic creatures and then they just put them into mundane settings where they're just driving or they're just working as a cashier or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I would have liked. I'm sorry. I would have liked to have seen more of a blend of fantasy and modern, and not just remove the fantasy completely.
yeah, because like even if it was just like everyday like mundane stuff, they still have like instincts to do something that they were born to do. Literally, like it wouldn't just leave. Like the sprites or fairies or whatever they were, like they knew that they could fly. Like, oh yeah, and they just started flying. Like
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
what convenience would make flying not more convenient?
Yeah,
right.
one of the first scenes they show is a fairy landing and then getting on a plane.
Yeah.
Like what? That immediately
The
kind of set
irony.
the wrong tone for me. But it's like, why? Like I understand the other creatures getting into a plane and flying, but
Mhm.
the fairy getting into the like flying to the plane and then getting on the plane, like what?
Well, I mean, that one kind of makes sense if like you can only fly as fast as people can walk or slightly faster, as they can run. It's like, well, I have to go 500 miles. I'm going to let a plane take me, but you still don't, forget how to fly to go down down the city, across
Yeah.
the city, whatever. You would use that to go, across the world. Where it's like, yeah, flying doesn't make sense. This plane could do it in 3 hours. It would take me, 20.
Yeah, that's
Sure,
true.
that makes sense. But yeah, they wouldn't lose the. I mean, exactly. They show them fly to the airplanes. Like, yes, that makes sense, ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, they wouldn't suddenly go. You know what? Motorcycles.
Well, what would have been cool is if because they all kind of pop out of the motorcycles eventually, right? When they get to the gas station, how cool would it have been if like they flew or they used their magic to make the motorcycles fly?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that whole
that would be
chase scene
dope.
would have been totally turned on its head because now you have flying motorcycles instead of driving motorcycles. And once again, I reiterate, why not just have a mythical beast riding the motorcycle? Why do they need to be pixies at that point?
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
I get worked up about that kind of stuff, but it's not like that big of a deal. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like if you're gonna have mythical creatures like this, then design a world where the mythical creatures can live and still kind of be like themselves. I understand it's modern times, electricity was invented, and the magic has gone away. I understand that, but just like Zootopia, you're still gonna need things to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
There's lots of. I mean, I feel like there's other movies or other books slash properties that do a real good job of blending fantasy and modern. And I feel like if the writers of this had kind of looked into some of that, they might have been able to go, okay, yeah, I know what we can do.
I mean, just look at Shrek.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's
that's a great
actually a pretty
example.
good example. Like, because there's still those old timey things, and obviously most of it is used for gags. But like
Yeah.
they go to the castle, and there's a Burger King outside, and it's
Yeah.
but it's like ye old Burger Squire or something.
Yeah.
It's just something that it's those little details that would make the world more believable.
Yeah, that's fair. And how did you guys feel about the dragon?
Oh, at the end,
Yeah.
I liked the dragon.
Yeah,
Did
that was
you?
kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like
I'll
the
be honest,
face.
that was my least favorite part of the movie.
I like the face. The face was funny.
Yeah, I like the dragon character face became its face.
Yeah, it was
Um,
creative. That and the school bell
Roar.
Yeah, the
roar.
roar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty nifty design.
Yeah.
Very predictable that he was gonna magically know all the powers and all the spells and defeat the dragon.
Yeah. I mean, to
That
be fair,
was
he'd been
cool.
practicing on their journey,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, actually,
I do think it's weird that the Manticore, like even if you get rid of all the modern time stuff, like back in the past, had a map that led to the gem, and took the longest way around to get there. When it's like, you don't even have to go. Like the inn itself was just like 10 miles away, maybe, and it's like you have to go on this journey that's like 100 miles to
Yeah.
get there.
yeah, the placement of everything is just kind of wonky, I guess.
It was very anticlimactic. Like
Yeah.
I didn't like it. Like the ending I wasn't really fond of at all.
Well,
Like
yeah, I agree. And actually, you didn't like the dragon sequence, but the part before the dragon sequence where Ian is yelling at Barley saying that he is a screw up and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Like
that
that
was,
just
yeah.
came out of nowhere, and I was like, "Damn! I thought
There's
we
a
had
lot of
grown
that
more
in the
as
movie.
characters before this part happened," and that really
Right.
kind of soured me on the movie when he just randomly was like, "You're a screw up, yeah," and he runs away. It's just like, come on. And then almost like I don't know, 5 minutes later, he's like, "I'm sorry."
right? Like y'all are a little late.
there was another scene that he was pissy for a random reason. Like it was after where he became big again, and they made that stop real quick. I was like,
Oh,
why
yeah.
is he pissed right now? Like why is he like so depressed all of a sudden?
Well, it just follows the basic script of our two heroes have to have some sort of falling out.
Yep.
And, they did it twice. Woo! Now that's shocker.
And each time it lasted like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean that one that
Yeah.
Greedy was talking about was like obscenely short. Like it literally
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
one
Mhm.
line of dialogue, and the dad starts dancing,
Dancing.
and they're like,
yeah, I was like,
"Oh, I love you, big bro."
And I mean, that is kind of comparable to some sibling relationships too. Like they could be at their throats one minute and the next minute they're having a dance party. Like, but putting that into a movie is just too much whiplash. Like it didn't gel very well at all.
Yeah, it was a bit forced.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Was there a reason why he had the stick and was doing all the magic when clearly the older brother knew all the knew how to do it? So why did the younger brother have like the stick and all that?
He had the
That's
magic
what
touch.
Magic.
He literally had the magic touch.
I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
It just didn't make sense. to
it's
me.
just like like Harry Potter and stuff. It's like some people have magic, some people don't.
Yeah.
And going back to scenes that don't make sense is when after he crosses the ravine and he's so mad about not having the rope. It's like, dude, you made it. It's like,
Right.
why are you so mad about the rope? Like,
Yeah.
move on. You made it.
It's like being so pissed that your brother took your training wheels off while you're trying to learn how to ride a bike. Like you did it and you can do it again.
That's,
And he
that's
does it
how-
again at the end. So
How learning works.
Yeah. Crazy. I don't know. I thought like The one creative part that I liked was the whole like splinter thing when he couldn't reach the staff anymore and he had the splinter and he knew how to like obviously enlarge it and make it into a staff again. I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't devolve into, oh, the magic was in you this entire time. You don't need a
Right.
staff.
That would be
Yeah.
too much.
That would have been too much. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. I like how the little sliver becomes a big staff, and he's still using the big staff at the end of the movie, or I'm sorry, the splinter staff at the end of the movie. So obviously
Yeah.
the spell didn't wear off on that one.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, I didn't think. Maybe because it was inanimate? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it only the backfire is the only thing that wore off. Like when he shrunk the brother, that was more of a curse for getting the spell wrong, and he said that one would
That's
wear
fair.
off.
That's
But,
fair.
yeah. Things that have been bigified,
Mm.
they bigified. I guess.
true.
I suppose.
How did y'all feel about the ending?
Go ahead, Yemmy.
I thought it was fine. I think I know I'm saying fine a lot during this, but I thought it was just fine. Like I appreciate that they subverted expectations of, oh well, Ian should get to see his dad for the first time, blah blah blah, and then he gives it over to Barley. I guess that's a bit of a subversion of expectations, but yeah, it was fine. I didn't cry. That's the thing. It didn't move me to tears.
Yeah. Well, and I think, like, I remember the first time I saw this, I had this issue where I'm just like, this whole movie is a buildup of meeting the dad, and then, that's fine that Ian doesn't, but it's like, us as an audience, it'd be nice
We
if
didn't. Yeah.
we, got to see the scene between Barley and the dad. Like, it just was disappointing where it's just like, oh, well, I guess we're all Ian.
Yeah, I mean,
It was. Go ahead.
I don't know. I like the idea of like, oh, your brother was your dad figure this whole time. You just didn't realize it. Like, I don't mind that, but yeah, I mean, seeing the scene between Barley and the dad would have been good, and that probably would have been a much more of an emotional kick, especially because Barley asked him, what would your wizard name be, and blah 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 blah. Like, I feel like it would have been a special moment where instead we just kind of see it from a distance and we cut away to Ian falling down the rubble like 5 times, and then you get like a secondhand source through Barley telling him what happened instead of just seeing what happened.
I think it would have hit us differently too. Like Barley, when he says, "Oh yeah, he's proud of you," you're just like, "Yeah, okay." And first off, there's no way he said that in that little time that he was there, but yeah, it would have been different, just having that scene, more emotional, and then Barley goes over to his younger brother, and then he says that stuff. I think that would have hit a lot more emotionally than what they ended up doing.
Yeah, part of me wonders if they did have that like if they had us meeting him as the ending, but for some reason it very well could have been like a COVID thing or something in production that they could not get that to
No, because I mean, this movie was
Well,
done
with
before
COVID.
COVID.
Yeah, but how would COVID like stop that? And it's not like I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe if they didn't have the lines recorded and the dad couldn't come in and do the lines, I guess.
No, because I mean, this movie came out in March. COVID, like all the shutdown stuff, happened in March.
Yeah, but COVID was still very active in December of 2019. We just
when I got it.
Yep. We just didn't know. So it could have been something like that. That was probably that could have been the last one, and the voice of the dad, which I think is Kyle Bornheimer. You never know. Maybe something happened.
Maybe.
But
I don't know.
I thought it was also very Pixar of them to do.
Yeah, I would say it's more Pixar because, like, I mean, COVID, yes, was kind of around, but it wasn't. I don't think it was affecting things quite as much as it was by March.
And you would think that they would have at least most of the animation and stuff done by
Yeah,
the
I
time
mean,
that
Yeah.
It
December
takes
came around.
forever, to do all this animation stuff. So it would have been. I doubt they were still working on things in December.
You never know.
Yeah, this movie and that Raya movie and There was another Disney movie that also got shafted by the Disney Plus release. Though they just performed so poorly, and it's like, oh well,
Yeah.
I guess we won't be seeing these characters in Disney anytime soon.
Was Soul? Was
Soul,
that
yeah.
one?
Yeah, that was the one I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
That was
That's-
and that was the next Pixar one.
That's a great movie too.
Yeah, that was
like
that's
that is
like-
a
yeah.
fantastic movie.
Yeah.
That makes me sad, but yeah, like watching the ending of this was so like, oh my goodness, almost traumatizing. Just because it's like that classic Pixar, like you're almost there but just not quite at the end of it. Oh, that drives me nuts. Drives me. Oh, I hate it. I can't stand it.
And I feel like that's more like Pixar movies. I feel like earlier, like they delivered on the punch, and I feel like it's just more like modern Pixar movies that don't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even Toy Story 4, I think it delivered pretty good on the ending punch.
Yeah.
But it's one of those movies that's like, well, we didn't really need this, so how emotional is this going to be? Seen as we already know there's going to be another Toy Story. Like the third movie, that had the real gut punch, right? Because a lot of us were the right age for it. We were going to college, or we were just getting around to college, and that was like the emotional gut punch we needed. Whereas like Toy Story 4 was like, oh well, the toys are separating, I guess.
I didn't see
Right.
Toy Story 4.
It's not good.
Yeah,
I did not like it.
Woody. Well, I don't know. Do you want me to spoil it, Tay?
I don't care.
Yeah, essentially Woody stays behind with Bo Peep to save toys from the playground, and Buzz and the rest of them go with the new girl who Andy gifted the toys to.
Yeah.
They stay with her. So there's like this emotional part where Woody and Buzz split apart. But it's like even at that time, we knew that there was another Toy Story being worked on after this one. So it's like,
Did we?
yeah,
Was there?
Yeah.
we knew at that time that there was going to be a Toy Story 5. So it's like we know that these two characters are probably going to meet up again. So this whole like emotional departure is like moot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to especially Disney movie announcements anymore, just because. Yeah, it just spoils any like impact the movies will have. Like Marvel movies, are planned 10 years in advance now, and it's just like, oh, cool. I guess anything that happens, like, you don't go, oh my gosh, this character died. It's like, well, no, because they're making a movie for that character in 3 years.
Or they re-up the contract, and you're like, well, why do they have a 5-year contract if the character's dying here?
Yeah. So I stopped paying attention to any Disney movie announcements a while ago.
That's fair. That's
So.
very. I feel like Toy Story is going to be the Fast and the Furious of Disney. It just won't stop.
Toys 2 Story.
Two toys, two story.
Yeah. And maybe
Toys
that's what
2.
we'll do.
Or what? Toys 5. And then it would be Story 6.
Maybe, in Toy Story 5, it's just going to be 2 separate stories, one about Woody, one about Buzz, and they never meet again.
And they could call it Toys and Story.
Yeah, exactly.
Toys and also a story.
Hire us, Disney. What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready to do ratings?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, I suppose. I mean, it's a little bit early, but like, I don't know if I really have anything else to say about the movie.
I know. I guess
Personally.
final thoughts might be in order. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I'm new.
Well, if we're all ready, I mean, you would start us off for our final thoughts and rating.
Okay. Well, Yemmy, you can go for it.
No,
you do.
Yo, you.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Person who picked
Oh,
the movie always
shoot.
starts.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed the music, and the adventure part was kind of cool, like the D&D aspect of it, or like Magic the Gathering type situations. But I will have to give this one probably, I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yep.
Okay.
I
Well-
have no idea who goes next now.
It's like a merry-go-round. If you go
What?
first, then it's back to me. If I go first, then it's Greedy. If Greedy goes first,
Bless. Okay.
Yeah. So, Onward, the animation's great, and a lot of the fine details are really good, but the movie misses the mark when it comes to the world building and just the overall narrative structure. And there's a lot of things that I talked about that maybe I sounded more pissed off about, but I'm not like super angry at like the whole thing about like, oh, the character's not really fitting in with the world. Like I do have that big criticism of like, well, why make this world so modern and then have fantasy characters when any other character type could fit into these roles, right? I guess there's a little bit of difference there with the magic part of it, but I still have that same criticism as I do with most games and movies that have this same problem where they have magical characters in a modern setting, but they don't do anything to really make it feel like the characters live in that setting most of the time. Um, and yeah, I mean, like the movie's pretty predictable. I didn't really agree with the or like the ending of it. And I'm also gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, the movie has a good message to it. Really did enjoy that. But the scenes that were just so random, like Barley getting mad for no reason, the younger brother getting mad for no reason about the rope. That's kind of stuff. Just them trying to quick climax that or issues that didn't need to be there. Um, yeah, those kind of bring the movie down. Was a little boring at some points, but and it wasn't like too boring or anything. I did enjoy that chase scene with the van. I thought that was enjoyable. The ending, kind of agree with you guys saying you just didn't agree with it. I wish we saw the dad. Just him, saying the messages for the younger brother. That would have been kind of more emotional. The dragon was cool. I really liked the face on the dragon. The mom was cool. The dragon was fine. It was just an okay movie for me. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, for me, like the music was really good, which was a plus. But overall, yeah, the movie was very mid. Like it was fine. It was good, as fine as Yemmy kept saying. um, like the premise, yeah, it was fine. Like I said, I think they could have definitely done a better job, or Jimmy said, a better job of blending the two fantasy and the modern era. It just, yeah, seemed a little. It was like it's just modern area, or era completely, like your modern era, but there's elves and stuff. Where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, and then like the quest stuff was fine overall. The ending, yeah, was a little unsatisfying. Um, where we don't see anything with the dad, where it's like it's been this build up this whole time, and it's like I kind of get it where it's from Ian's perspective of like this build up to see your dad, and then you don't. But it didn't quite hit right. So any positives they had, like for the music and stuff, that this negates that. So yeah, it's a very mid movie. It's a 3 out of 5 for me as well.
Wow,
Wow,
across the board, same score.
Yeah, like I said, it's a fine movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's just fine.
Fine, yeah.
It's pretty average.
That was my second time watching it. The first time being on my birthday in 2020, and I had to spend that birthday alone because I
Oh.
lived alone, and I lived in a separate state than my parents, and my mom just got into remission from cancer, so I couldn't go visit anybody. And so like I was like, "Oh, watch this movie and it'll be great." And for some reason, my brain was like, "Yeah, this was a really good movie. This would be a good one to recommend." And then I watched it again and I was like, "Well, crap. This was not as good
Yes,
as
sometimes
I
that's
thought
just
it
how it
was."
goes.
Yeah.
Well,
Like I
you know
said,
what?
It's not a bad movie. It's
It's fine.
If we could only go back in
Everything's fine.
time and wish you a happy birthday
Yeah.
while you're
Like, go
watching
back in
this
time
movie.
and slap me for thinking that this was probably the only highlight of my week at that point. So
Which
I
is
guess it
probably
would
why
be
you liked it better.
yes. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. When everything else in your week is shit, and then you see a fine movie, you're like, ah, that was the best thing ever.
Honestly, that took my splinter into a staff. That's what that did.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, as you all know, we had our fan vote this past week. Thank you to everyone who voted in the fan vote. Just as a reminder, Discord is going to be the place to go to for the fan vote, which is reiterated because we got 0 votes on the Twitter poll this week. So that Elon Musk, freaking covering the people who don't pay for Twitter is going strong. Which was something that I predicted was going to be happening, which is why I moved it half and half. If we had just done the Twitter poll, we probably would have done like an internal, like, okay, what movie should we watch kind of thing.
Well, I mean, if it was just Twitter, maybe it would have been some votes, from the Discord would have gone to Twitter for it. But they're like, wow,
hey.
Discord's better and easier.
Yeah. Well, I told people like, hey, you can vote on both platforms. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, going forward, it's just going to be the Discord. Links are in the description of the YouTube video. So if you want to join the Discord just for voting, that's fine by me. You can join the Discord just for voting. But hey, let's reveal what the winner is. And the movie is going to be This Is Spinal Tap from 1984, directed and starring Rob Reiner. This is a mockumentary about a metal band trying to get back on the charts. Includes everything from their complicated history and up and downs, gold albums, name changes, undersold concert dates, along with a risque album cover. So yeah, this is a pretty infamous movie, I would say. One of those cult classics that people love. Oh, it stars Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, Harry Shearer, Rob Reiner, June Chadwick, Bruno Kirby, and many, many more.
All right, excited.
Good.
And you can, as Tay mentioned before we started the episode, find the whole movie on YouTube. But if you don't want to do that, you can buy it on Amazon or YouTube, but you're just going to have to pay a little bit of money.
Yeah. And who suggested this one?
Topos suggested this one. Do you know if he'll be joining us, Tay?
He said he is good to join us.
All right. So we'll be having a guest on the podcast next episode. Topos making his 3rd return on the podcast.
Let's go.
And he can't say that we're a bunch of white men talking about movies anymore. Let's go.
Yeah.
And of course, if you don't want to be spoiled or if you want to join the conversation for This Is Spinal Tap, just make sure you watch the movie before the next episode airs in 2 weeks. Okay.
Ew.
Do we have anything else we want to mention before we end the episode?
I just want to apologize if anybody heard my cat
Nope.
trying to beg for
Nope.
attention. Thank God. Okay, because he was right there.
My cat's jumped up onto my chest in the middle of recording before, so it's fine.
I'm going to do something a little different at the end here.
Ooh.
I'm going to do a anti-recommend. Small anti-recommend. The opposite of
Alright.
recommending something. And I do not recommend the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Really?
It was absolutely terrible.
I've heard nothing but good reviews, so this is intriguing.
Really?
Say, I watched the pitch meeting for it. That was my only plan.
It's such a slog. It's so boring. There's one scene, like one sequence that's exciting because there's people actually dying, and then after that, which is like maybe 30 minutes into the movie, nothing happens. Like actually nothing happens for the rest of the movie.
I hear that the main character really likes to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's like all he does
that whole
all
plot
movie.
line doesn't even matter at the end of it all. They spend so much time in the dream world and it doesn't even matter. And yeah, poor acting all around. The visual effects are good. I mean, the puppeteering on the animatronics looks good, but that's about all it's got going for it. Hate me later, don't at me.
Well, then.
I've got nothing new to recommend at the moment. So.
I just had to get that off my chest.
Glad you did.
Okay, well, I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with...
Onward waffles.
Taymation.
Very positivity.
And this has been another episode of Film Freakz with a Z. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.